Okay. So these calls are super cool. We've got an awesome crew here. We basically, for those of you who don't know, we've been basically coming together and doing business in a very different way. So if you're in business, you will basically start to feel that a lot of business and a lot of success is built from the platform of fear, of scarcity, of lack, frustration, being hooked by results, right? Being attached to outcomes. And it's starting to fall out of alignment. You can feel this. It's starting to fall out of alignment. The heightened level, the heightened consciousness of the planet is increasing. And I feel we need to increase our businesses with it. So for those of you who don't know, a lot of the people in the online community have basically come together and to collaborate to contribute to some really cool, worthy causes around the world. And what I decided to do was take those members who are just such heartfelt members and who operate from a place of kindness, a place of service, a place of giving, a place of generosity, and start to come together. There's about 12 people to start with. And I just sort of did this Zoom call where we all just started to share our businesses and work ways in which we can collaborate, where we can do some service exchanges, where we can just add value from a place of love. And I feel like this is the shift in business. I feel like you can grow your business as a byproduct of being in service, of being generous, of coming from a place of love, coming from a place of contribution, right? And you can feel this. So what we do to start every call, what we'll do here in the call is everyone generally shows up to this type of webinar and they basically sit back and chill and basically observe, right? But here you're an active participant. And why is that? Because I'm going to bring some people on to introduce their business and to hear about their story, hear about what they're all about. And you can ask yourself the question of, how can I contribute to this person, right? What is it that I can do to contribute? Because what will happen is you will start to build your business and start to build your network from a place of contribution, place of kindness, place of love. And from that energy, you'll basically co-create and collaborate where your business can grow as a byproduct. So everyone on here who's either on the Zoom call, watching on YouTube, wherever it may be, you can actually start engaging with the people I'm about to bring on and about to introduce. And you can not only find their details, it'll be linked here somewhere, whether it be in the description or whether it be in the comments, but you can reach out, add that person to your network and start forming these collaborations, start forming these service exchanges or these joint ventures, whatever it may be, so that you can start to contribute at higher levels and do it from that place of service. So one thing I love doing before we get started is to remember a time when you did a random act of kindness, you did a service from love, you did something that felt right to your heart, and you did it from a place of not what you could get in return, but just because it felt like that's who you are. Just because you felt, this is who I am. This is what I do. And recognize how that felt in your body. Right? Go back to a moment. I say this all the time. I remember a time when I worked at a restaurant. The best shifts I had was when I paid for someone else's meal. I paid for a table's meal. I just used the income I would have made that day and I just paid for their meal. And they were such a beautiful family. And that was the best shift. Makes no sense to the logical mind, right? But it feels aligned in your heart. So when have you ever done something that just felt aligned, something that just felt kind, something that just felt like it was flowing through you because that's who you are? And know what that energy felt like. You don't need to really listen or believe me, but you can feel it in yourself when you say, this is how I feel. It feels like more of who I am, right? This feels more of who I am. I believe now we can start to reach a place where we can build our business from that energy, right? From that energy. The byproduct will be more reach. The byproduct will be more heightened levels of creativity, more alignment, more clients, even more income. But it will come from the energy of placing love, kindness, growth, contribution as the primary focus. And so what I decided to do is just provide a platform for people to do that. I'm just housing the environment for people's love to flow through them and their kindness and contribution to flow through them. So I set up these calls, and everyone that's on here is, I know, is very, very heart-centered, very keen to contribute, just loves to help out and to serve from a place of generosity. And it feels awesome to be able to set this up for you guys. But I know what you're going to get out of this is being able to meet the members here, see who you're going to get introduced to, organize how you can help them, ask yourself the question of how may I serve? And on these recordings, just to place any links, any ways people can reach out to you in the comments, so that we can start to get this conversation going on this recording, on this video, in the comments, where people can just say, here's my link, this is what I do, this is who I'm looking to connect with, right? And especially if someone that I introduce here resonates with you, definitely let me know. Definitely reach out to them and organize a conversation, because there's some really, really cool people who are doing some awesome stuff, and adding them to your network will be immensely beneficial. So while we're feeling this energy, I know I get a lot of comments after this saying, man, that was crazy. That was such good energy. But I'd love to bring on some people. Who's ready? I'm keen to introduce you guys to Dan and also Daniela. They're new to the crew. Maybe guys type in 1 if you're ready to jump on. Let me know, whoever's first. Dan or Daniela? Dan's in. Daniela will invite you next. Dan, promoting you to panelists. Let's go. Rock and roll. Hopefully he's able to jump on. Maybe I just kicked him out of the group. Where are ya? So while Dan's coming on, here we go. Dan, how are you? You're on mute.
No, I'm good. I can work Zoom. That's the first. That was my first. All right, are we good?
I think so. We it's awesome. I can hear you. I can't see you, but that's okay.
Yeah,
as long as we can hear you.
I was having bandwidth issues. They should be corrected hopefully any moment. I got kicked out for a moment.
That's all good. We basically just rock and roll how we go.
Boom, got it.
We have the philosophy, whatever happens is meant to happen. So everyone, this is Dan. I was on his podcast recently. We had a really, really, really cool conversation. He's got some cool stuff he's doing. He definitely operates from a place of love, definitely operates from a place of contribution, and is in a space where he just helps business owners do some awesome, crazy stuff and have some really, really big shifts. So while we're listening to Dan, everyone here, Dan, you'll love this, but everyone here will be asking themselves a question of, how can I help Dan? Who can I send him? That would be a really good connection. How can we organize some sort of collaboration ourselves? Or one way we can do is just do some service exchanges and just to get to know each other and see what happens there. So obviously not only growing your business and having the podcast and releasing this course and everything like that, there'll be multiple ways in which people can add you. But I'd love to give you the floor and explain a little bit about what your business is and why it is that you do it.
Thank you. The first thing I will say is that I'm excited to meet everybody. One of my core beliefs is that people matter most and that relationships are everything. And I'm very thankful to be here. I was super thankful to have you on the podcast. You did a great job. It was wonderful to hear your story and help your light shine a little bit brighter in the world. As for me, I think like so many of us, I have a pretty crazy story. When I was younger, man, and Tyson and I, we've talked about this. Hey, I didn't call you Tyler, so that's already a win.
Very good. Very good start.
That's right. So when Tyson and I were chatting, I shared my story, and the short version is that when I grew up, I was exposed to just a ton of crazy stuff. I was hidden from my dad for 6 years. And when we came back to town, my mother brought me back. We were pretty deep in poverty, to the point to where she was selling herself so that we had a place to stay. And we dealt with hunger and all of those things. I was bullied quite a bit. She got remarried. I initially felt a little bit of hope, and then I was exposed to violence and drugs and murder, among other things, in my new extended family. And by the time I became 16, and I say became, I don't know that I turned 16. I feel like I became 16. By the time I did, I just felt hopeless. I felt lost. I felt unprepared for life. And as a result, I survived my first suicide attempt at the age of 16. And I share that even though I'm being asked what I do in business, because that was the beginning of my business in many ways. When I felt unprepared and I felt just lost and I felt so hopeless, I started to recognize for the first time in my life that your environment, the people that you are around, the places that you are, that those things may have influence, but it's your choices that truly create change. And I finally began to see that and started to make choices. I moved through a 25-year kind of ridiculous escalating career of success in sales, straight commission in-home sales, and went into retail and was promoted a number of times. Ended up running at my height a couple $100 million in business, a couple thousand people, but I was never fulfilled. I never felt like I'd found my place. I knew from when I was younger that I was meant to help more people, that I needed to be able to make a difference in a lot of people's lives in a significant way. And I didn't quite know how. And I finally got to the spot where I realized I either had to do it or had to admit I wasn't going to do it. And I have no admit that I'm not going to do it in me, not even 1%. So they flew in to offer me my third promotion in 5 years. And I sat back and I looked at them and I said, what would it look like if I declined? And I resigned on the spot, walking away from the most money I'd ever made to go to zero to build the plane on the way down. And when I say zero, it's zero. No other income in the house. Didn't have a lot of savings. Said, let's go, let's do it. I'm going to do what I'm meant to do in the world. And I've been super thankful that I did that. It was scary. It was terrifying, but I'm glad that I did, because since then I've been able to truly change my definition of success to doing what I was meant to do in the world every day. That's my fulfillment. If I can live every day doing what I'm meant to do, then I will. As I explored, I formed a company called Leaders Must Lead. You'll find me out there at Leaders Must Lead. I'm pretty much everywhere, and also under my name. Please feel free to connect. I'd love to connect and learn from you guys. And I didn't know who I served. So I spent the first year figuring out that I'm a refiner, not a creator, and that creating things is really hard. And as I created things, I started to look and realize, who do I help? Who do I connect with most? And I recognized that it's creatives, it's entrepreneurs, particularly women entrepreneurs, and it's people in the LGBTQ community. Those are the three groups that are, what do you know, underserved, often feel overlooked. And they were people who felt like I did, and I didn't want anyone to ever feel like that. I help others. I do corporate training. I do lots of fun stuff there. But if I'm aiming out, that's my world. The bigger thing is that I finally connected with what my mission was, and I could put it to words. For me, my mission, my North Star, is to significantly and positively impact the lives of 1 million creatives and entrepreneurs, to equip them with the foundations of success they need to achieve their dreams, so that they can then inspire true generational change in the world. And over the next 10 and 20 years of playing the long game, they can reduce that generational change will reduce the larger problems we face, like poverty, like human trafficking, like hunger. And that's the long game. I also do some work in the short game of helping to reduce suicides in the world because of my own experience and because I've lost more than 100 people I know. We're forming a foundation called Light from Darkness to do that in a particularly unique way. And then more recently, a podcast, and even more recently, as of an hour ago, an online learning platform that is officially launched and exists in the world from a vision. I'm glad to share anything else you would like, but there's the button up.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, I mean, as I'm listening to Dan, my heart's just like resonating because it just embodies what we're here and what we're all about. And it's just making a big difference coming from that place of love. Like you obviously left a very secure and safe situation that you knew was not in your highest alignment to then start building something on the way down that you knew was definitely on purpose. And so you definitely come from that place of love and contribution. And everyone else can, and I'm sure everyone here can feel that, right? You can feel the energy that is coming from, which is why I'm so happy to introduce you to Dan. What is it that you are looking for? How can everyone here help in terms of, are you looking to connect with anyone in particular? Are you looking to form some sort of collaborations? What seems to be in alignment for you?
There are a number of things that I'm working to, I guess, put into the world in a stronger way right now. Probably my biggest need on a larger stage is a megaphone, is to be able to get the message out. That's not something that I'm very good at. Sales, got it. Technical knowledge, strategy, how to run a business, got it. The megaphone of marketing, while I have a marketing person on my team who's pretty solid, that's not my strength. But much more towards my mission, I would say that there are a couple of specific asks. One, I'm forming this foundation of light from darkness. I've never formed a nonprofit before. I know what it needs to be. I know how to run it. I know how to do it, but I've never formed that. And I have a very strong heart for that mission. I will eventually be looking for someone to be the director of that nonprofit. I'm not all the way there because I'm not in a position to pay for it yet. I'm looking to raise funds. And so I will need, I'm looking for help there. Also looking to share the love of the Dreams Are Real podcast, because we talk about how your story, everyone's story, matters and is powerful. And that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, we have guests from 17 countries and 26 careers so far, and crazy backgrounds and strong backgrounds, that no matter what, your story matters. So any help with that is possible. And I guess I can't leave out the Foundations of Success online learning platform. That's the megaphone I'm looking for, is to get that out there, because it's the training that I've been paid many, many thousands of dollars to do for 100% of my one-on-one clients, that we're offering at a hugely reduced rate, the exact same training, so that we can make it scale. And scale is my opportunity.
Cool. And before because we're almost cut for time, because we have to. I'm going to invite some other people on here. But no, this is awesome. What I'd love to ask you is, what is the program all about? So you literally just launched it an hour ago, and yes. And so Dan's been working like crazy to get this finished. But tell us a little bit about the outcomes that people will achieve by jumping into that program.
Yeah, the Foundations of Success is exactly that. It's the thing that nobody teaches because it isn't sexy and because it's harder to put together. These are the things that most trainings out there, I would call them the roof that the roof that you would want to put on top, but they tend to have a lower success rate because the walls below them aren't solid. We're training things like sales, leadership, communication, time effectiveness, and then other targeted issues like how to leverage the power of small numbers, how to make more effective decisions, how to evaluate risk. All of the things that who wants to teach that? Who wants to teach how to avoid overwhelm and put it into a platform? We did that because we know these are the tools that everyone needs. So what can they find? What they'll find is that as they solidify this training, which, as I say, has been tested by over 1,000 people, every bit of it, they will find now that when they're under pressure, they won't leave. The quote that I think of when I think of our program is the quote from Archilochus that says, "We don't rise to the level of our hopes, we fall to the level of our training." I adapt that to say we fall to the level of our highest secured training. If you put a roof on top of something and the walls are made of paper, it falls to the ground. But if we can build those out of cinder blocks, then it will affect all of your life. It'll create safety and security, but it'll give you a firm foundation to move forward into anything that you would want to accomplish in the world.
And Dan's, the way he described to me, is he's a real key expert in helping people find what their North Star is. So that guidance that is like, this is what I'm here to do. And then you can basically make your decisions based on, you know, if it's getting you closer to that star, or if it's not, you can guide yourself that way. Is there anything else, Dan? Anything else that you'd like to share with the group here, or any other way we can help?
I love to help. I love to help other people, and I would say that you can help by letting me know how I can help you and who I can connect you with. I like to say that I don't have a network. I actually have 7 separate networks, and so I'm able to be a bridge across them. Because of the crazy things I've done and all the different spots that I've worked in, I have people call me and say, do you have a guy for this? Do you have a person for this? Do you have someone in this part of the world? And often the answer is yes. So I would just love to be of help to the group. I'd love to be able to serve this group. And I know that by doing that, a lot of it will return itself as we build relationships. If I were looking for an introduction in the world, I would be reaching a little bit high. I like it to someone with quite a bit of influence, like Brene Brown, because that's one of my top 10 guests for the podcast that I'm targeting. So if anyone's got a direct connection to her,
I'll message her.
All about that. Yeah, no problem. Appreciate that. I've actually got 2 friends who know her directly, and I haven't been able to get through the wall.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's awesome. So I'll put some links to how to connect with you in here in this on YouTube in the description and things like that. And along with everyone else on here who's either watching the recording or live, you can just add him. You'll be able to also type in the comments and add your links and who you're looking to connect with. But Dan, that's incredible. It's a really, really good snapshot of who you are, what you're doing, and how we can help. So, man, thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity, and hello to everyone. I appreciate being part of the group and getting to learn from each of you. Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Awesome. Perfect, guys. That's what Dan's all about. You can feel the sincerity, right? That's why this group is so, so cool. And Dan, you can check in the comments. Everyone's loving you. Everyone loves your vibe and definitely resonating with your message. And there's many ways you can help Dan, like you said, with the platform, looking to connect with people, even if you want to become some sort of, he's always open to affiliates and collaborating, but also the podcast. If you or someone you know would love to be on his platform, he's an expert really in terms of interviewing. I love his interview style and just shares the platform in terms of helping you share your light is the way he describes it. So that's incredible. Awesome. Who else do we have here? We've got a few people jumping on. Beautiful. Daniela, are you ready to jump on and introduce yourself? Let's make it happen. Here we go. Now, while Danielle's setting herself up, she was on my podcast recently, the Awaken Your Business podcast. A lot of you guys listen to that, where I do solo episodes, but also do interviews. So Daniela was on the podcast recently, and it was an absolute pleasure to get to know her and what she's doing and how she's rocking the world. But welcome here. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. It's nice to see you again.
Likewise. I'd love to give you the floor, similar to Dan, and just explain to people what your business is and why did you do it? What's a bit about your story?
Sure. Thank you. It's so weird that I can't see everyone. But thank you so much. I almost called you Tyler too. Tyson.
Tyler, Tyrone, I get it all. Don't worry. I get called Brody. Brody's my twin brother.
Oh, weird. That's funny. So my name is Daniela, and I am a registered counselor. I have a private practice in Vancouver, BC. And my background is I grew up in the Ivory Coast in West Africa, and we had to suddenly move to and basically leave the country. So we came here. So I went from having everything and being quite spoiled to having nothing and just learn how to hustle. And the first few years were pretty intense, and I learned lots of lessons. And I found myself in the corporate world, and I loved it, and I was doing really well, but my heart wasn't in it. And we talked a little bit about it last week. I didn't know what was going on, so I went searching and had, all kinds of different experiences until my heart led me back to school to become a counselor. And also in the meantime, actually, it's funny when you asked earlier to think about a time where we've done something for someone else. I love that you brought me back there, because I used to do that so much more before. And I thought, well, I don't do it as much now. But then I was thinking, and I was like, I think I just do it differently now. I give differently. But that time when I was searching, a lot of what I did was actually volunteering. I did a lot of volunteering, giving back, and being part of the community. And then I went back to school to become a counselor because my intuition told me to do so. And, you know, I was very grateful and very blessed that my practice, you know, was built right away before I was even done school. I also did some work on the downtown east side, where here in Vancouver, it's where we have the highest population of homeless and drug addicts. And so I spent a lot of time giving back while I was searching and figuring out who I am. And then I became a counselor, and I have my practice, and I love it. And I love working with people. It's my favorite thing to do. One-on-one is my absolute favorite. I haven't done any work, any group work yet, but seems like the universe really wants me there, so I might have to listen. And yes, so in listening to also my intuition and my heart, one of the things that I was guided to do is create a platform for mind, body, and soul healers, practitioners, workshops, classes, resources, you name it. My biggest thing is I don't like doing research. I really don't like it. And every time I wanted to refer my client to someone else, because I'm clear that talk therapy is amazing, but it's not the only way to heal. There are other ways to heal, and many different modalities. And but what I didn't like doing is looking for other practitioners to refer my clients, or looking for workshops or classes. So then, you know, my guides, my heart said, well, why don't you create something where you can actually make it easy for people to find these resources? And so One Stop Therapy, which is an online directory, was born earlier this year. So it's my newest baby, and my intention is to have as many resources, amazing people like you, like Dan, like some of the amazing people that you're connected with on there. So when people are just literally just typing anxiety, they'll get anything from what I do to a somatic therapist, to an intuitive healer, to Dan's platform. So really just any resources that are available there, out there in one place. So it makes it easier for people to really connect to different modalities and practitioners for their healing. And and how can people help me really? And if you know any practitioners, any amazing people that you know, do this kind of work, I would love to be introduced to them, or send them my way, send them to the platform, have them on there. And and I'm looking to create a resource page too. So I'll talk to Dan as well to see how can we have his program on there. So it's growing, and it's growing really fast. Yeah. And it's funny because last night I was praying, and I said, I need to surrender, because I was starting to get attached to how things need to be. And I said, no. So I prayed all night, and I said, no, I'm surrendering. I don't know what it's going to look like. And this morning was insane. It was like people calling me with resources, with funding, with, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. So it was a great reminder for me.
What happens when you surrender, crazy stuff happens. When you allow, this is what I do all the time with my clients and the people in the online community. Everyone knows who jumps on the group coaching calls, is when you allow, when you surrender and truly surrender, and that means surrendering without attachment, you know, surrendering with opening yourself up to all possibilities, crazy stuff happens. And that's beautiful. And I love your story in terms of, similar to Dan, you had a very safe, comfortable place, and you followed your heart. And because you did that, because you learned a lot of the lessons, you basically build your practice, you know, a jam-packed practice almost straight away. And now you're just serving in that place. And because you were struggling with accessing different resources and combining different modalities and finding out which one is for you, you've built this one-stop therapy. I think it's onestoptherapy.ca.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's
so
right.
people can jump on there if they want to either check it out as a resource, or if they're a practitioner. I know so many people now who are in the aspects of coaching, on healing and spiritual work and stuff like that. So I can connect you with many, many people just to see if they're the right fit. But everyone here as well, you're on here, you're on this call and listening to this call. Ask yourself the question, how can I help Daniela, right? How can I help her with what she's doing, the platform she's building? And when you operate from that place of, like you said, you can surrender to this. You can give your gift from your heart and surrender to the outcome of what it may lead to. What can I get? What is it going to get me? What is it going to lead to? And just do it because it feels aligned. When you do that, I believe you access a deeper, more spiritual part of yourself that is a lot bigger than what your mind can see. So when you give without expectation, like you just explained, that comes back to you when you just surrender. And so that's beautiful. Is there anything else that you'd like to share, or anything else that you'd like to let us know how we can help?
No, I'm just so grateful for you. It's so nice to have a community of people that are aligned and speak the same language. And I'm just super grateful to be here. So thank you for including me.
Hey, that's okay. So Dan's already has 3 or 4 people who can connect with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, many other people here are in the space of health, fitness, in the space of coaching and healing and things like that. So no doubt you guys can help, but also access your network in your mind. Say, who can I connect with? Just like Dan just did, just like I just did. And trust me, that energy will flow back to you. It's like when you are basically accessing the level of giving and from service, you feed everyone, but that energy feeds you first, right? That's what I believe. And it feeds you because you're giving your heart, you're giving away your soul. So thanks so much. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's perfect. All right. Who else is wanting to come on? Type in the chat, type in 1 if you wanted to come on, share some projects, share some things that you're all about. Let's see who's on this call. I know a few people have some really, really cool projects. Sarah has a cool book club that she's just super excited about. And there's many people who are doing some awesome projects. So type in 1 in the chat if you want to come on and explain a bit more about what you're doing, how you're doing it. It'd be really cool to do this. And I'll say for Dan and Daniela, I've been messaging these people who are members in this group, and the way they would also love to contribute, because obviously we're heart-centered, is basically because basically what they're looking to do is also share this recording and to share this video, share this YouTube link with their networks and with other people. So we can basically share more and more what you're all about to more and more of a bigger platform. And if you're listening to this, you can easily type in the comments and let everyone else know what it is you do, how it is you do it, who you're looking to connect with, and we can just form this really cool band of connection and come from that place of love. And it's just a completely different way we do business. It's a completely expansive way that feels light, but it's also it's also death to our ego, right? A death to the side of us that says, no, it has to be this way. So it's really cool. We got Barbara wants to come on. Let's see what Barbara's all about. She's a veteran here in the group, in the community. I've known her for a long time now. So Barbara, how are you?
Yeah, it's been a while. I am doing really well. Thanks, Tyson. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing very, very well. It's a pleasure. And so it'd be cool to give you the platform here and just to share a bit about what you're up to and how you're doing.
I am just doing really well. Hi, everybody. My name is Barbara Ellison, although right now I do have to tell you, right now on Facebook, I am Barbara Lunan. I'm not the most techie person, so I was trying to change the name of a page and it changed my whole page, my whole profile. So that's why I'm Barbara Lunan, and it's like, oh, brother. So it's just been one of those. I can't change it back for another 30 days.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But we'll put the link in there in the description and stuff like that so people can reach out and connect with you.
Just connect with me. Anyways, my thing is I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. Because so many people right now are feeling stuck. They're just not happy. And so, but the thing is that for myself, I have realized that, you know what, we cannot do life on our own. So we have to be happy within ourselves, absolutely. But we also have to deal with the people around us. And I am a happiness expert, and I am a personality science trainer. So what I do is I am teaching people a simple communication tool, skill, that they can connect more effectively with the people around them. So I've been doing a little skit type of thing that is just a fun thing about and describing all the different personalities and how to recognize them and how to deal with them and what kind of jobs they have. And it has just been amazing to see the people that are responding to it. I was on a podcast this morning and he was like, oh, wow, this was really cool, because people can see themselves. They can see themselves in it, but they also go, oh, that's why my whoever does that, because they'll recognize something. Oh, that's why my partner does that. Or like with me, I can look back on my husband before he passed away, that it was like, oh, that's why he used to do that. So it has just been amazing. So right now I'm offering people a free gift that if they want to find out what their own personality is, they can, and I'll put it in the chat. But how I'm using it for families or for people that have business teams, what I'm having them do is everybody, especially, I will start with this. Lots of times if there's tension in a relationship, either family or business, lots of times people don't like to have confrontation. So they don't always know how to start the conversation if there is a little bit of tension. What this personality fun thing does, they all find out their own code. They all crack their code themselves, but then they get to discuss it. And it just seems to ease the tension and it becomes fun. It's like, oh, that's why you do that. And they get to understand from the other person's point of view. So I'll put that in the link. And then I also do this free little skit type of thing. If anybody wants me to come and do it on their with their audience. And I also offer a free consultation if they want to learn more about how to put it in their own business. So it's really a cool thing. I'm really having fun doing it. It's just, yeah, it has just been a blast. It's
awesome.
been a blast.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, reach out to Barbara. She does a lot of awesome things in terms of calls and just adding value the way she can. And she's like me. I organize these calls just because it's a passion. I have no clue where it's going to go, no clue what's going to come from it. Like everyone's talking about, I'm just separating myself from the outcome and just taking my heart's leap and just taking these steps. And similar to the group coaching calls that a lot of you guys jump on, it's just like, I just do that for fun. And if everyone else is benefiting as a byproduct, man, that's awesome as well. And just so happens that from the community, to set my business as a platform and everything like that. And you're very similar. You just love giving away your gift, and you just love talking about it on podcasts and all those different things. So how is it that this group can help you most with your next steps?
Right now I need help with a few techie things. I'm not the most techie person in the world, which is how I changed my name on Facebook and couldn't change it back. One of those things. Just of putting Infusionsoft, like putting things together of like my autoresponder and that kind of stuff. So if anybody has some suggestions or I trade services, hey, I'll come and talk to your group if you help me with this. I will share with you one of the things that I'm doing. We have within Bank Code, we have a thing for artificial intelligence. And so somebody can send me, what I'll do is somebody will send me something that somebody has written to them. And I can almost instantly find out what their code is from what they've shared with me. And then I share with them how to write back to them in their own code. Mm. And so that I do. And it's just fun. So if somebody's interested in that, it's a really cool thing. And they can find out more about that, artificial intelligence.
Beautiful. And like I said, when you're coming from a place of contribution and love and kindness, you get those, that creativity, like you say, I can send Barbara this person, I can do this service exchange. We can come from that place of giving. And that's what I love doing. I get on a lot of calls with you guys and just come from that place of kindness and generosity. And the community has grown as a byproduct just organically from
Mhm.
it. And so it's just being really resourceful and creative with how can I help? How can I serve? How can I give my gift?
Right.
How can we grow together? How can we make more and more of an impact? Right. That's why all of you guys are part of the Patreon as well, who are
Right.
contributing to some really, really cool, worthy causes around the world just from your heart, because you feel that's right. And so, is there anything else that we can do? Obviously, you love getting on podcasts and talking about this sort of
I
stuff.
love, oh yeah, I love getting on podcasts. If you are looking for a guest and plus I do, like I'll put people out on my, on my, on my page. So I love doing, I swap interviews, and it is just so fun,
Beautiful.
because there's so many people out there that are struggling to deal with the people around them. And as I said, I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm. People right now are not happy, and a lot of it is because they're not dealing well with the people around them. Because we can't do life on our own. So
Wow,
it's
that's awesome.
yeah.
And obviously, you should be a very energetic, alive, and valuable guest
Yeah.
on any podcast.
I
She
love it.
definitely brings herself when she does that.
Yep.
That's
And
beautiful.
I think I've said to you before, I mean, I am just, what you see is what you get. And so often it would be like, I would be talking about something that, because I've had to learn it myself. And I know I've said to you before that, okay, yeah, that was totally for me. I just happened to be talking out loud on Facebook Live. I was like,
Isn't that the
okay.
way? Hey, we share what we want, what we need to learn the most.
What we share, what we, exactly. So it's and I just, hey, and I just happen to be talking out loud on Facebook.
Beautiful. Man, that's awesome. I love your work and I love your energy, and thanks for being here. Thanks for
Thanks.
sharing.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, guys. Anyone else want to jump on? Feel free to type in one. If you want to jump on, we'll do something quick and you can help share. Like I said, a lot of people in this community, I messaged a lot of people individually and said, man, if we do this sort of call, would you be willing to share the YouTube link, to share it with your audience or with some people? And basically everyone messaged back saying, hell yes. Like, so many people just message saying, yeah, this needs to be shared. This needs to be out there. This needs to grow. This needs to, we need to increase this reach because of the energy of just contributing and building your business as a byproduct of what's flowing through your heart. Right. And you can feel that. Like, even if your mind freaks out and says, oh my God, I'm not going to make money straight away doing this, or I don't know how this is going to help me, recognize that when you come from a place of contribution and a place of service and you release yourself from the outcome, notice exactly what Danielle said. Notice how the world will respond. As soon as you just live from a place of surrender and just allow all outcomes and just follow your heart because it feels aligned, because it feels light, because it feels expansive, the world will respond to the shift you just made internally. Right. And so many people will flow in, so many high level opportunities, as well as high level creativity. Right. It's so cool to see. Seems like this is everyone's starting to engage with each other now. Anyway, what will happen? I'll send you guys the link to the YouTube so that you can send this out, so you can spread the love, so we can get some more and more amazing people on here. And like I said, the more people, it's sort of like a team effort where a lot of people will share this. But that also means more and more people will see your messages in the comments, right? People can connect with the people when I put the links in the description. And we'll just get this really, really cool, engaging group where we can just organize a lot of collaboration, service exchanges, and provide yourself with that base of all the support you need to grow your business, and just do it in a way that feels aligned, in a way that's no longer from a place of fear and doubt and scarcity and attachment. I'm more than happy to continue to do these each week and provide the platform for you guys to engage with new people. As soon as I find people that really come from a heart-centered place, I'd love to invite them and introduce them to you as well. And so if anyone wants to be more on these calls, let me know. It's each week, same day, same time. Let me know. I'll send you guys the link, and we can rock and roll moving forward. I just love doing this. I could do this for 5 hours if I didn't have other calls. But thanks so much for joining, guys. Thanks so much for being here. I'll reach out with how you can share this once it's uploaded. And I love your energy. I love it. If anyone else wants to send me their links and things like that, let me know. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for rocking. I'll see you guys on the group coaching call who is going to join me tomorrow. Take care, everyone.